About two movies that have received quite a bit of buzz. First, there's Dear Evan Hansen, based on the Tony Award-winning musical, and Cry Macho with Clint Eastwood. You're going to do Dear Evan Hansen
first?
Yes,
let's talk about Dear Evan Hansen first. This is the musical, as you mentioned, based on the hit Broadway play. Basic plot line is Ben Platt plays a high school senior.
That's hard to say.
Exactly. Who's filled with just social anxiety. He feels like nobody likes him. He feels like he's ostracized, and so as part of his therapy, he is required to write letters to himself as a way of encouragement. You know, Dear Evan Hansen, make today a great day, so on and so forth. Well, he writes one letter to himself, and a young man there you saw a moment ago signing his cast steals a letter from him, and then sadly that young teenager commits suicide, and his parents find the note thinking that their dead son wrote a note to his friend Evan Hansen, and so they come to him and want to know more about their son. And Evan Hansen basically has to lie. He was not friends with him. In fact, nobody liked this kid who sadly took his own life. But he has to create this whole lie. At first, it seems like to protect the parents, but then it just sort of spirals out of control, because then he finds himself being popular, and he gets to know the sister of the deceased teenager. Of course, now this is a musical, so all of a sudden they'll start breaking out in song, and it does have that kind of Broadway look at me kind of feel to it. Some of the songs were very touching, but at a certain point they all kind of sounded the same, with the same kind of tone.
Are they melancholy?
Very melancholy.
Okay.
Exactly. The performances are fine. Amy Adams is the grieving mother. Julianne Moore plays the mother of Evan Hansen. But all in all, the movie is just a little bit clunky. And then when you start examining the motivations of Evan Hansen, it's sort of like kind of creepy. He tells this lie, and that you know for a fact, any kind of story where there's a lie told at the beginning, that the lie is going to be revealed, right? That's just not a that's not a
you have to resolve it.
But then what happens, it's just sort of devastating. And so I wasn't crazy about even the plot line. So all in all, I thought this was an average film. If you like musicals, maybe this might be for you. I give this a 7 out of 10.
Watch it on a rainy day.
Maybe watch it on a rainy day, but of course, you will tear up. No matter what, you will tear up on some of these at times.
Okay, that's good. Tugs on your heartstrings.
Exactly. Next movie to talk about is called Cry Macho. This is on HBO Max, or you can watch it at the theaters. Stars Clint Eastwood, who's 91 years old, believe it or not, and still making movies. Here he plays a washed-up horse rodeo trainer who his employer sends him down to Mexico. The movie is set in 1980. Sends him down to Mexico to retrieve his 13-year-old son, who's getting into trouble and living on the streets and involved in cockfighting. And the rooster he has is Macho. So that's where the name Cry Macho comes into. Clint Eastwood goes down, and this story becomes sort of a bit of a road trip between Clint Eastwood and the young 13-year-old boy played by Eduardo Minette. And at times Clint Eastwood, 91, that's senior citizen big time, and at times it seems like Clint is a little bit too old to be even playing this particular role. But there is a sweetness to the film in terms of the relationship between the young boy and Clint Eastwood as they try to evade some of the forces that are trying to take the young boy back. And while they stop in a small town where, of course, Clint Eastwood starts a romance with a younger Mexican woman. So we've kind of seen this movie before from Clint Eastwood, where it's a relationship between a younger person and Clint Eastwood, a bit of a mentor relationship. But, you've seen it before, but there's still a sweetness to this story. I kind of liked it. I liked it better than I thought I would, which is why, all in all, I give this film a 7 out of 10 as well.
Okay.
So two okay films to see this weekend, just depending on what you're in the mood for.
I just have a feeling when you're first telling me the plot of that, it's like it sounds like a really bad B movie. But you throw in Clint Eastwood,
Makes a bit of difference.
Better.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.
All right, let's go check in with Rand.